Hey, what is going on, guys? Today I'm sharing with you 5 amazing new track mods for Assetto Corsa. We got some super cool stuff on today's list, from some Formula E circuits actually to some fictional circuits, as well as, of course, some real-life, more grassroots racing circuits. Before we get into it, though, I'd like to give a quick shout-out to my second channel, JC Racing. If you want to see some broader sim racing content besides just Assetto Corsa mods, that will be your one-stop shop for it. You can find it in the top link in the description below. But without further ado, let's get right on to the first track on today's list, and that is Magnificent Park. This is made by Shin. We'll convert it over from R Factor 2 by Shin. This track does feature quite a few layouts, including a big endurance layout, but the regular GP layout, if you will, is 6.6 kilometers long. That set endurance layout, though, is 10.4 kilometers long. So if you want something a little bit crazier, you got that one right there. This is a super cool track in my opinion. It's got a lot of fun elevation change. It's got a really big, I really do call it a stadium section on the main straight. Kind of reminds me of Indianapolis with grandstands on both sides. There's even like a big, like sports arena style, like Jumbotron above the racetrack. There's a lot of cool stuff happening on this circuit, and it's quite a lot of fun to drive. Again, fictional track. It is set in France, though, so maybe, a fictitious race for a future French GP. I don't know. Maybe you can think of it that way when you're driving on this one. But regardless, super duper cool and, pretty super well made, especially for an R Factor 2 mod. You can find this one down in the link in the description below. Next up, we have quite a unique circuit. This is Adams Motorsport Park. This is made by Tyrone, and this is a karting track. So I know there's some people who definitely enjoy karting here in Assetto Corsa, or even if you want to try to do some drifting around here, that is also definitely something you can do. There's a lot of layouts for this track to delve into, but all of them hover around a kilometer long. Again, of course, being a karting circuit, it's a very narrow track, so you're not really going to get much car racing out of this one, but if you do have some kart mods that have been collecting dust in your Assetto Corsa mods, and you want a new track to try them out on, this is definitely a fun one to do so. It does only have 10 pits, though, which is a little bit of a downer because, you can't have too big of karting grids around here, but super well made regardless, super nice texturing as well, and it does have night lights, so if you want to do some karting under the lights, you will be able to here as well. You can find this one down in the link in the description below. Next up, we have the first of 2 Formula E circuits on this list. This is the Seoul ePrix. This is once again converted over by Shin from, I'm pretty sure, R Factor 2. 2.6 kilometers long. Quite a unique circuit as it goes through an Olympic stadium. It just kind of goes around the whole outside of it. Of course, if you're running in it or playing a conventional sport, it's probably a pretty big stadium. However, even with Formula E cars, it does feel quite small driving around here. But besides that, it's not too crazy of a layout, but I know there are some Formula E fans here in Assetto Corsa, and if you want another excuse to hop back into your VRC Formula Lithium Gen 3 Formula E car, then this is definitely a nice track to throw them on and continue to maybe flesh out a little bit of a Formula E calendar. You can find this one down in the link in the description below. Next up, we have Shannonville Motorsport Park. This is a Canadian circuit based in Shannonville, Ontario. The track in its normal default, again, kind of like a GP layout, is 4.1 kilometers long, but it does also have a pro layout, which is kind of just an outer layout, if you will, which is 2.5 kilometers long, 2.2 kilometers long for 2 short variations of the circuit. But the big one, the long version of the track, 4.1 kilometers long, it has 30 pits, so pretty much any kind of grassroots racing cars you want to throw around here are going to fit. Mazdas, Porsche Cup cars, whatever it may be. It's quite well modeled. This is once again made by Shin. This is converted over from GTR2, but a fun layout nonetheless, and it's quite well textured and modeled anyway, so definitely not too big of a, graphical hit with with this conversion. You can find this one down in the link in the description below. And finally, on today's list, we have the Marrakesh ePrix circuit. This is, of course, based in Marrakesh in the country of Morocco. This track is 2.9 kilometers long, and it does have 26 pits, so you will be able to fully fit a Formula E grid around here. It does actually have a slight bit of elevation change, which is actually a bit unique for Formula E circuits. But overall, I think this is probably one of the most conventional feeling street tracks in Formula E's calendar. It doesn't have really a ton of like stupid twisty chicanes and all this weird stuff where it's like a car width wide. It is actually quite a wide racing surface, and it's honestly not a bad circuit, especially for Formula E standards. But yeah, Marrakesh, Morocco, giving the African continent a little bit of recognition in the global Formula schedule. Of course, we have Cape Town, I know, this year in Formula E, but yeah, still super cool to have here in Assetto Corsa. You can find this one down in the link in the description below. But yeah, that's all I really have for you guys today. If you did enjoy this video, a like and a sub would mean a lot. Once again, be sure to check out my second channel, JC Racing. That'll be the top link in the description below. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good one, guys.